All right, let's jump right into a question I'm sure a lot of you have thought about. When is the absolute best time to build a new deck? I mean, it seems simple, right? But if you get the timing right, you can save a ton of money and a whole lot of headaches. Get it wrong? Well, let's just say that's what we're going to help you avoid today. Oh, yeah, you can practically smell it, can't you? The burgers on the grill, that warm sunshine, you're hanging out with friends on this beautiful new deck. It really is the ultimate upgrade for your backyard. But here's the thing. Turning that dream into a solid, great-looking reality, it's about so much more than just picking out the right materials. Your timing is everything. Seriously, it can be the one thing that separates a smooth, easy build from a total nightmare project with warped boards and a budget that's just completely blown. So, what's the secret sauce here? When is that perfect time? Well, it really comes down to a balancing act between three key things: the weather, your wallet, and your own personal timeline. So let's dive in and break down the first one, which is arguably the most important factor of all. Okay, so first up, and this is a big one, you've got to play by Mother Nature's rules. Seriously, where you live is the number one thing that's going to dictate your best building schedule. And honestly, it's pretty straightforward when you think about it. If you're in a colder climate, you're shooting for that sweet spot between late spring and early fall. Why? Because you've got to avoid frozen ground. But if you're down in a warmer part of the world, you flip the script completely. Your best bet is actually fall through early spring, because you're trying to dodge that intense summer heat and humidity. And here's the reason why building on frozen ground is such a bad idea. It's a little thing called frost heave, and it's no joke. Basically, when the moisture in the soil freezes, it expands. And it expands with an incredible amount of force. We're talking enough force to literally push your deck's foundation post right up out of the ground. It can completely wreck your entire structure from the foundation up. Okay, so that's the weather. But your timing also has a huge, huge impact on a couple of other things: your budget and your schedule. And this, my friends, is where you start having to make some real trade-offs. And you can see it plain as day right here. It all comes down to basic supply and demand, right? Everybody and their brother wants a new deck ready for summer. So what happens? Contractor demand goes through the roof. And when demand goes up, prices go up. It creates this thing that people in the industry call a summer premium. So, this is the big trade-off you have to think about. If you build during peak season, yeah, you get your deck ready for all those summer parties, but you're going to pay more for it. Plus, you'll probably have to wait a lot longer to get on a good contractor schedule. On the flip side, if you aim for the off-season, you could save some serious cash and probably get started way faster. The catch? You're taking on a little more risk with the weather. All right, so we've talked weather, we've talked money, but it doesn't stop there. The timing also depends on the actual materials you're planning to use. Believe it or not, wood and composite have their own opinions on when they should be installed. So, if you're going with natural wood, cedar, redwood, that kind of thing, it is all about moisture. The boards have to get used to the humidity where you live. They need to acclimate. Think about it. If you install super dry wood right before your rainy, humid season kicks in, those boards are going to soak up all that moisture like a sponge, and that's when you get swelling, twisting, and warping. Basically, a deck that looks all wrong. Now, composite decking, that's a whole different ballgame. It couldn't care less about moisture, but it's super sensitive to temperature. These boards literally get bigger in the heat and smaller in the cold. It's called thermal expansion. And any good builder knows this. They have to leave very specific gaps between the boards. And the size of that gap depends entirely on what the temperature is on the exact day they're installing it. And speaking of temperature, here is a golden rule that every single deck builder, whether you're a pro or doing it yourself, absolutely needs to burn into their brain. That 50 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit range, that is the sweet spot. Why? Because almost any stain, sealer, or finish you're going to apply works best in that window. If you try to do it when it's too cold or too hot, you're just asking for a finish that's going to peel and fail. You absolutely have to plan your finishing work around this. Okay, we're almost there. Beyond the big stuff like weather and materials, there are a few final, kind of boring, but super important logistical hurdles you have to think about before you even pick up a shovel. And really, this all comes down to planning ahead. And I mean months ahead, not weeks. First, getting permits from your local city or town can take forever, especially in the busy season. Second, the really good contractors, they're often booked out 3, 4, even 6 months in advance. You also want to think about your yard. Building when the ground is dry means you're less likely to completely destroy your lawn. And finally, just a friendly reminder, construction is messy, it's loud, so probably not a great idea to schedule the build for the same week you're hosting a big family reunion or something.
All right, so we've gone through climate, cost, materials, and all that planning stuff. Let's pull this all together now into a simple framework so you can figure out what your perfect building season actually is.
This table right here basically boils the whole thing down. Look, if your top priority is having the best weather for a top quality build, then you're going to aim for your area's driest, mildest season. Just know you'll be paying more and waiting longer. Now, if the absolute #1 thing for you is saving money, then you're going to want to build in the off-season. You just have to be okay with potential weather delays. And finally, if you have a hard deadline, like you need this deck done for a graduation party, then you have to plan way, way ahead and just accept that you're going to pay that summer premium we talked about. So you see, the perfect time to build a deck isn't some magic date on the calendar. It's the season that lines up perfectly with your climate, your budget, and what you care about most. That dream deck is totally within reach, and now you know exactly how to plan for it. The only question left is, which season are you going to choose?